Hey, listener, picking a new doctor can be overwhelming sometimes, right? So many options. Well, today we're doing a deep dive into Brewer Street Medical Center to see if they might be the right fit for you.
Right. We've gone through all the info on their website, so you don't have to.
By the end of this deep dive, you'll know all about Brewer Street, what they offer, who the doctors are, and of course, everyone's favorite topic, how their billing works.
Nobody likes a surprise medical bill.
Okay, so you can find Brewer Street Medical Center at 1450 Anzac Avenue in Kallangur, Queensland.
That's 4503 if you're looking for the postcode. And their phone number is 07-3448-0438.
Oh, nice. I always love when places offer online booking. It's so convenient. One thing that caught my eye on their site was this big thing that said, need help with weight loss. It seems like they're really actively trying to reach people who need help with that.
Yeah, and that's interesting because it shows that they are interested in preventative care. They're not just treating symptoms, but looking at your overall well-being, which fits with their focus on having long-term relationships with their patients.
It's like they're saying, we're in it for the long haul. So, speaking of the long haul, let's talk about the doctors. Brewer Street has 4 doctors, Dr. Naranjan Samashekar, Dr. Tamana Zamarialai, Dr. Diba Shiramulu, and Dr. Alexander Rechford. And they're all MBBS, FRACGP.
And the website specifically mentions that they have both long-term male and female GPs. So that's something to think about if you like to see the same doctor consistently.
Absolutely. It can really make a difference to feel comfortable with your doctor. Now let's dive into billing. Brewer Street uses a mixed billing system.
Yeah, that's pretty common these days. It's
Yeah.
a way for clinics to provide affordable care while also, being able to stay open.
Right, it's all about balance. So, good news for some people, they do offer bulk billing, but only for certain patients. If you're over 65, under 16, a DVA patient, or on a chronic disease management plan, you're in luck. But if you haven't been to the clinic in over a year, be prepared to pay a private fee.
Right. They'll consider you a private patient, which is another reason why building a long-term relationship with your GP can be a good thing.
That's a really good point. Okay, let's talk about those private fees. New patients, unfortunately, have to pay privately for their initial appointment.
They're really transparent about that on their website, which is good. And they have a fee schedule, so you know exactly how much you'll be paying for different appointments.
Yes, transparency is key. Okay, so for a new patient, if you're aged between 16 and 65, a standard appointment, which is about 20 minutes long, will cost you $34 out of pocket. If you have a concession card, it will be $29.
And remember, that's based on the current Medicare rebate of $82.90. It's always a good idea to double-check the Medicare website because those rebates can change.
Oh, absolutely. Now, what about follow-up appointments?
For a standard follow-up appointment, it's $82 without a concession card and $77 with a concession card.
But don't forget about that Medicare rebate. Once that's factored in, you'll only be out of pocket $40.80 for regular patients, or $35.80 if you have a concession card. Again, always double check those Medicare rebates, but that gives you a general idea.
Exactly. It's all about being informed.
Yes. Knowledge is power, right?
It's pretty cool how they highlight having a regular doctor, too. They really seem to believe in that whole long-term relationship thing.
Yeah, it's not just something they say, they really emphasize it. They even say, and I quote, seeing a regular doctor can lead to more favorable health outcomes in the majority of cases.
Which makes sense, right? When you think about it. Your GP knows your whole medical history, your lifestyle, and you would probably feel more comfortable talking to them about things you might not want to discuss with just anyone.
Definitely. It builds trust and rapport, which is so important with healthcare. It's interesting that they emphasize that so much with so many walk-in clinics and all the telehealth stuff these days. It's kind of refreshing that they're encouraging people to find a doctor and stick with them.
It is. And you know that need help with weight loss thing we were talking about?
Yeah.
It's more than just a catchy phrase. They have a whole section on weight loss support where they talk about working with your doctor to make lifestyle changes, medications, that sort of thing.
Oh, wow. So they're really covering a lot of bases then. It all goes back to that preventative care approach, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. They even have a whole section about how dedicated they are to making veterans feel welcome.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that too. I thought it was really cool how they're acknowledging that different groups of people might need different things from their doctor.
Right. Like, we get it. You've been through stuff, and we're here to support you. It's nice to see that.
It is. Little touches like that can make a big difference. You know what else I noticed? They offer iron infusions.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
It's not something you see at every clinic.
Yeah.
It's good they're thinking about those kinds of needs, too.
Definitely. Okay, let's talk about their website for a minute.
Okay, sure.
It's actually a really good website.
Oh,
Yeah. It's well designed, easy to use, and they've got tons of information on there. There's an FAQ page for quick questions. Their online booking is super simple.
oh, that's good to know. I hate when those things are difficult to use. Right, and they have a whole section just on immunizations. They're clearly big on making sure people are up to date on their shots.
That's really important, especially if you've got kids.
Absolutely. They even have a useful links section with links to other resources, a videos section, and a blog.
Wow. They really thought of everything. It's like they're trying to reach people in as many ways as possible.
It is. And don't forget, they've got that 4.5-star rating on Google from 62 reviews.
Yeah, that's a pretty good sign that people are happy with their services. Although, like always, we do have to say that you should take online reviews with a grain of salt. It's just one person's opinion.
Exactly. Okay, so one thing I did want to address, their billing.
Oh, right.
They are upfront about the fact that there are private fees.
Yeah, they are. And they explain everything really well, too. Like, they tell you exactly what you'll pay for different things. No surprises there.
And they're always reminding you to check those Medicare rebates, since those can change.
Right. They even link straight to the Medicare website so you can check. That's really helpful. They seem to be walking that fine line between accessibility and running a business, you know.
They are. That mixed billing model is becoming more and more common, especially for clinics that offer more specialized services like Brewer Street does.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, so we've talked a lot about what they offer, their billing, all that good stuff. But what does all this mean for our listener who's trying to figure out if this is the right clinic for them?
That's the big question, right?
Yeah.
We've given you all this info, but ultimately, only you can decide if Brewer Street is the right fit.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's think about some things you might want to ask yourself as you're making this decision. It's like you wouldn't buy a car without test driving it first, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And finding a GP is kind of like that. You can look at all the features, read all about them online, but at the end of the day, you need to figure out if it's the right fit for you.
So as you're thinking about everything we've talked about with Brewer Street, think about what's really important to you when it comes to a GP.
Right. Like, is it important for you to have that long-term relationship with your doctor? Or are you more about convenience, online booking, evening and weekend appointments, that sort of thing?
Or maybe you really need a clinic that's on top of scheduling and doesn't keep you waiting forever. Because Brewer Street definitely seems to be all about that. It all comes down to what you need and if Brewer Street can provide that.
And there's no right or wrong answer. What works for your best friend might not work for you, and that's totally fine. It's your health.
Exactly. It's about finding what works best for you. Okay, so we've given you all the information we have about Brewer Street Medical Center. Hopefully this deep dive has given you some things to think about as you search for the perfect GP.
Exactly. You've heard what we've discovered about them, but now it's time to decide what you think.
Yeah, what feels right to you? Does this seem like a place that would be a good fit?
Only you can answer that.
And hey, if after all this you're feeling a little bit more confident about finding a new GP, then we've done our job.
We have. Remember, you're in control of your health. Don't be afraid to do your research and ask questions and keep looking until you find a doctor who feels right for you.
And if Brewer Street checks all your boxes, then that's great. But even if it's not the right fit for you, there are tons of amazing GPs out there. The important thing is that you're taking care of yourself.
Well said. That's it for us today. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and take care of yourselves.